and how are you doing? I know you're doing well, and this channel has continued to be the best educational channel for you. This is Dr. Sirme, and they say every coin has two sides. So for the first time, we're going to post a mathematics paper. I know I've been doing chemistry, and of course the channel remains chemistry. But for today, for the sake of the public demand, many of those who know Dr. Sirme, they know I can also handle mathematics. They have requested we do mathematics, and I will once in a while be including a mathematics paper in this channel. Considering the investment as parent we do in education, I think we cannot ignore Dr. Sirme YouTube channel. I know it is very educative. Even when we'll be talking of CBC, science and mathematics will not change that much. It will be the same. Otherwise, for my students, mathematics and chemistry, I know there are two subjects that when they are put together, they give you headache. However, they are not difficult subjects. Maybe you say these are two monsters, but take them easy. Take them easy. It's very easy to pass in chemistry and mathematics. So all the time, aim higher. Mathematics requires constant practice. Keep practicing. Keep trying. And finally, eventually, you will be a very good mathematician. Otherwise, I wish you well. I wish you well. As we go through, we are going to have the Form 3 paper, just the one I've written here. Form 3 Maths Paper 1. And we're going to do the first section, section 1, where you're supposed to do 16 questions and they are all compulsory, short, structured questions. That's what we're going to handle. Then I will leave you with the questions for section 2. You will attempt during my next video. I'm going to upload them. I'm going to do them for you. Otherwise, mathematics again, the other side of Dr. Sirme, a very easy subject. Okay, here are the questions. Maybe first is the cover page, the instructions. Always ensure to read the instructions because they are very important. Always a full maths paper, 2.5 hours. Okay, question 1, you're supposed to evaluate without using a mathematical table. That's a question on indices, operation of indices. Question 2, you can see there, you're given an interior angle of a polygon is 4x plus 15, then the exterior is 2x minus 15. You find the number of sides of that polygon. Question 3, you're given a question on quadratic expressions. You're supposed to simplify, as you can see it there. Question 4, you're given a question on algebra. You can just read the way it is. Finally, the question, find the age of Ali when Juma was born. Basically, look at the question the way it is. Question 4. Question 5, a question on commercial thematics, that is the currency exchange rate. You can read the story as it is. There is an American tourist who came to the country with $30. Just read the question as it is. Then question 6, you're given that sine of 2b is equals to cos of 3b minus 10. Then you're supposed to find the value of b, then the tangent of b to 4 significant figures. Question 7, it's a question on equation, that's a curve, quadratic curve, and you're given that there's a curve and a line, straight line, and they intersect at 2 points, point A and B. The coordinates are given there. Then you find the values of A and B in the equation on the function. Then question 8, question on indices. Look at the question, the 8 is, then you evaluate to find the value of n. Question 9, you're given a figure there. There is an angle subtended at the center, that's 1.5 radian. Then the arc length is given. The sector there is shaded. You're supposed to find, that is actually it's a segment. The area of that, the area of the shaded region. Of course, you first of all determine the radius. Question 10, you're given 3 alarms that are going at 12, 15 and 24 interval. The time they will go off together is 10 p.m. So what time did they go together last? Okay, question number 11. You're given a figure there, a triangle. You're supposed to find the value of angle alpha, then all the other measurements as they are given. Question number 12 is a question on logarithm. You have the 2 equations, study them well, then solve the simultaneous equation. Question number 13, it's a question on vectors. You're given vector A and vector C. Then the question is you find the magnitude of vector B. And of course, you're given that equation there. Question number 14 is a question on pie chart about animals, 4 types of animals in a farm. You're given that there are 30 goats. Then you work out the number of camels in the farm. Question number 15 is a question on SADS. You're given a cone with a vertex angle 90 degrees. Slant height is given 3√2. Then find the diameter of the cone, then the height of the cone. Question number 16. This is the last question in section A or section 1. You find the value of x given that the matrix there is a singular matrix. Remember, that is the end of section 1, and that's what we're going to attempt for this video. Next video we will do section 2. So first of all, attempt the question. Let's start with question 1. With question number 1, we are going to follow the way I've done on the board. This is just the operation of the numbers, the operation of integers. So we are going to apply what we call board mass. And with that, we can start with the brackets here. We can also start with the division at the same time, because they can go together. So the division comes first. Negative 12 divided by negative 3, you get negative 4 there, a positive, that is. Negative and negative get positive. Then negative and negative, you get positive. That's why it is positive. Remember, I'm operating the numerator. Then multiplication will come next. 4 times 4, 16. 16 now plus 15 for the numerator, the answer is 31. When I come to the denominator here, I'm going to start with the division again. 6 divided by 2, I get 3. Then multiplication will be next. That is negative 5 times 3, I get 15. Remember this bracket, I ought to have opened it before. Positive and negative, I get negative. So finally this will be negative 15, negative 5. If you put them together, this is negative 20. So now the numerator over the denominator, remember this is negative. Good. If I can convert that to mixed number, this negative 1 and 11 over 20. That's the answer for number 1. Next is question 2. Question 2, you're given the interior angle of a polygon. You're also given the exterior angle. Remember, if you're talking of a polygon, the illustration is something like this. If this is the interior angle, then this is the exterior angle. Actually, you can agree with me that the 2 angles are supplementary. They will add up to 180. So with that, I can add the 2 angles, the interior and the exterior, to get 180. If I go ahead to simplify that, 4x, 2x, I get 6x. 15 positive and 15 negative gives me 0. That is 6x equals to 180. I can simplify, divide by 6 on both sides, and I'll get the value of x to be 30 degrees. The question is, we find the number of sides, n. So the number of sides can be given by 360 divided by the exterior angle. 360 degrees, I divide by the exterior angle. Remember now I need to substitute 30 in this case here, and I'll get the exterior angle is 45. 360 divided by 45, I get 8. So it's an 8-sided polygon. Otherwise, if they ask for the name, it is called an octagon. Question number 3, we are supposed to simplify the quadratic expression, this one over this. So what I start with is the numerator, the expression above there. I'm looking for two numbers, two integers, such that if I multiply them, I get 36. 6 times 6, I get 36. If I add them, I get negative 13. Actually, the two integers is negative 9 and negative 4. If I multiply, positive 36. If I add them, I get negative 13. So what I do, I express the second term using the two terms. So what I'll do, I will write 6x squared minus 9x minus 4x plus 6. I've expanded the second term. Remember that there's nothing I've done. I've just expanded that. Then I factorize. I group them into two, I factorize. Between 6x squared and 9x, 3x is common. I factor it out. So into bracket 2x minus 3. Over here, 2 is common. In these two terms, 2 is common. So I factor it out, negative 2. If I factor out negative 2, the positive becomes negative. So for that, then now I can do the final factorizing and I end up with this. Remember, it is the 2x minus 3 is common. So I factor it out. So 3x minus 2 remains in bracket there. Then the denominator. If you look at this, remind yourself that quadratic identity, x squared minus b squared, if you factorize, it will be a plus b, a minus b, a difference of two squares. The same with this. These two factors here, all terms have perfect square root. So the way to factorize the lower expression, it will be the square root of this plus the square root of this, 2x plus 3, then the other part factor will be the square root of this minus the square root of this. So 2x minus 3. So these are the factors for the lower expression. So finally, what I need to do, the expression I had for the upper expression, the factors, I divide by the factors for the lower expression. So in this one, I identified, like this one, it's common with this. They will cancel each other. Then I will remain with the final answer, 3x minus 2 over 2x plus 3. So this gives you the final answer, the simplified expression. Question 4. Question 4. You're given a question on an application on algebra. You're told that Musa, Ali is 8 times as old as Musa. So if Musa is x, Ali is 8x, meaning it's 8 times. You're given that Musa as well is 30 years younger. 30 years younger than Juma. So Juma is 30 years older, that is. Good. With that, this is present ages. 5 years ago, if I have the expressions, it will be each of their ages you subtract 5. So in each case, I subtract 5. And the question instructs you that the sum of their ages 5 years ago was 95. So what I'll do, I take the age of Ali, I take the age of Musa, that is Musa 5 years ago, then even that of Juma 5 years ago, I equate to 95. So what I'll do with that, I'll simplify that expression all the way to solving the values of x. So 10, this is 8, 9, 10, 10x, then 5, you have another 5, negative 10, 25 minus 10, 15, equals 95. So with that, over here, I'll subtract 15 on both sides, 10x equals to 80. I proceed to solve for x. X is equivalent or equal to 8. So with that, now the question is, I find the age of Ali when Juma was born. So their present ages, that is their present ages. Ali is 64, then Juma is 8 plus 30, 38. Then you subtract. That means Ali was 26 years old when Juma was born. Question number 5 on currency exchange rate. You told of a tourist who came with 8,175 US dollars, and he spent 80, actually he converted, he exchanged 80% of the money, not all of it. So when this person went to the bank was buying the foreign currency. Remember what happens with the bureaus or the banks? They buy the foreign currency. So the table you given here, the buying and selling, it's all about the foreign currency. So we're going to convert the 80% of the money he came with by multiplying it by the buying price of the bank, and this is the amount of money it was given in Kenya shillings. Of course, if you want to calculate the amount of money he did not convert, that is 20% of the money he came with. $16.35 was remained unexchanged. Now, while in the country, we are told that he spent this amount, 443,595 Kenya shillings. So actually, if I subtract, this is the amount of money he remained with in Kenya shilling that was not used up. So with that, this person went back to the same bank and converted them back to US dollars. Now the bank will be selling the foreign currency. So you divide that amount by 84.05, the selling price there, and you'll get 1,200 US dollars. So the question is, how much of the US dollars did this tourist remain with? So of course you add the amount of money he did not convert plus the amount of money he remained with, and of course you get $28.35. That is question number 5. Number 6, you're given that the sine of 2b is equivalent to the cos of 3b minus 10. Automatically, if the sine and the cos are being equated, these two are complementary angles. They add up to 90 degrees. So what I'll do, I will add the angles 2b and then 3b minus 10 equals to 90 degrees. Then I'll go ahead to solve for b. So this is 5b, then I add 10 on both sides. 5b equals to 100. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Angle B equals to 20 degrees. That is part 1. Part 2, go ahead and work out the tangent of 20, either using your mathematical table or a calculator, and it will be 0.3640. Remember to write the 0 at the end because you're instructed to give your answer before significant figures. Thank you. That's number 6. Number 7, you're given the function for a curve and the function for a straight line, and you're given that the two graphs are intersecting at point A and point B. The coordinates are given. So what you need to know is that if I substitute the values of x and y in the first function using the coordinates given, the function will obey, otherwise it will be correct. So what I need to do, I'll substitute a -1 for x here and -1 here, and of course I will substitute -7 here. Of course, remember there was this 10. Now when it is on this side, it will be positive 10 minus 7. So if that function is evaluated with the -1 and -7, it will reduce to this equation, a minus b equals to 3. That is my first equation. Then I do the same using the coordinates of b. I'll substitute like I did here. X, I will use 2.5. Y, I will use 0. That's why it is 10 plus 0 here. Then when I go ahead and I simplify, like here, I can divide all through by 2.5. The equation again will reduce to that. That is my second equation. Then I will solve the simultaneous equation. What I'll do here, I want to eliminate b, so I can add. This is 7, this will be 0, this will be 3.5. 3.5 divided by 3.5. Remember, it will be 3.5 equals to 7. So 3.5a. So 3.5 divided by 3.5, 7.7 divided by 3.5, you get 2. So with the A being equals to 2, I can work out B. From equation 1, I know B is A minus 3. So 2 minus 3 to be negative 1. So otherwise your answers will be A is 2, B will be negative 1. The next question, we are supposed to evaluate this question on indices. We are supposed to evaluate that question. We can start with the numerator. The numerator, as you can see, this is 3 to power n plus 3. This one, remember when you are multiplying indices, you add the power. So this one must have emanated from 3n times, that is 3n, 3 raised to power n, times 3 raised to power 3. So that's what I've just written here. That's what I've written here. So I've written it like that. Over here, the upper one, it is 3. Then the other one is 3 raised to power n over 3. Remember, if you're subtracting power here, that must have been a division there. So I just write it like this. With that, this one is 27, 3 to power n. This one I can cancel by 3 1, by 3 1. 3 to power n just remain. So this is 27 3 to power n minus 3 to power n. That is 26 3 to power n. Consider this maybe to be m. 27m minus m. It will be 26m. So where your m is 3 to power n. So this is the simplified form of the numerator. The denominator part, the lower part, again will be 4. This is 3 to power n multiplied by 3 to power 2. Remember, these are just indices. So when you're multiplying, we had added the power. Now we dismantle them. So this is 9. This is 4. That gives you 36. 36. N to power 3 to power n is 3. So finally, what was on the upper part, divide by what was on the lower part, like it is. So 3n goes with 3n. 26 over 36. You can leave it like that. You can simplify by 2 by 2. 18 and 13. That is the answer for number 8. Number 9, you're given a part of a circle. This is a sector. And a sector, you're given the angle subtended at the center, 1.5 radian. The arc length is given 12 centimeters. The segment here is shaded. The radius is not given. Now, the formula for arc length, it will always be theta over 360 times pi times 2 radius. That is arc length. But this one, the angle is not in degrees, and you don't need to convert to degrees. Even your calculator has the radian function. Use the radian function. So what I'll do, it's 1.5 radian over 360 in radian. That is 2 pi. 2 pi times pi times 2 radius. So if I go ahead, pi and pi goes by 2 1 by 2 1. Finally, I'll have 1.5 radian times r equals to 12. If that is the case, I can go ahead and divide by 1.5, divide by 1.5. 12 divided by 1.5 is 8 centimeters. That is the radius. You've already gotten the radius. Part A, well done. We go to part B, area of the shaded. Remember, this is the area of the sector. Subtract the area of the triangle. Just that. Area of the sector. Theta over 2 pi. That is 1.5 radian. Ensure your calculator is in radian. Otherwise, you can still convert to degrees. But this, to me, becomes a bit very easy. 1.5 divided by 2 pi times pi r squared. So with that, pi and pi will go. This one will go, remember this is 64. So this one finally will be 32. 32 because you divided by 2. That 2 multiplied by 1.5, you get 48. That's the area of the sector. Area of the triangle. The sine formula. A half radius, that is radius squared. sine 1.5 radian, your calculator in radian. If you work out that, you get that 1.92. Now you only need to subtract the area of the sector, subtract area of the triangle. And of course, when you do that, you get that is 16.1 to three significant figures, and that's the answer for part B of number 9. Number 10, you're given 3 alarms going at an interval of 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 24 minutes. So they went together. Okay, the next time they'll go together is at 10 a.m. So what time did they go together again previously? That is, so get the LCM of the 3 numbers. You can use the tabular method, you can use the factor method like I have here. So if you work out the LCM of the 3 numbers, 12, 15 and 24, it will be 120. Remember, with this you go for the highest factors. 2 to power 3 is the highest, there is 3 and of course 5. So if you multiply, you get 120. 120 minutes convert to hours. 2 hours. The LCM is equivalent to 2 hours. Then you subtract 10 a.m. subtract 2 hours, it is 8 a.m. The answer for number 10. Well done. Number 11, you have been given this triangle here. There is an angle marked alpha here. That is what we are working out. Remember, this angle is 90 degrees, so we can apply the trigonometric function tangent. And how am I going to argue? I'm having angle 40. The tangent of 40 equals to the opposite 9 divided by the adjacent. Adjacent will be 3 plus x. So remember, this distance there is x. So if I do that, finally I will have the 3 plus x here is equivalent to 40 divided 9 is equivalent to 9 divided by tan 40, and I get 10.73. Now if I want to get the value of x, it will simply be 10.73 subtract 3, and I will get 7.73. That is the distance from here to here, and that tells you I have another triangle there. I have another triangle with the 7.73, and this one is 9. And of course, I'm looking for this angle. This is angle alpha. So if that is the case again, I will go ahead with the tangent. The tangent of alpha is opposite 9 over 7.73, the adjacent. And I get 1.1643. Then I only need to go ahead and get the tan inverse of that ratio. Tan inverse of 1.1643. And the answer would be 49.434. And that is again the answer for number 11. Question number 12. You're given this logarithmic equation. You need to convert them to index notation. The number, like with the first one, the number is equals to the base raised to power logarithm. Remember, the logarithm and indices are just about the same thing. So what exactly am I doing in this one? It is 3x plus 4 is equals to base 3 to power 2. That is 3 squared. The other equation will be 2x plus y is the base raised to power the logarithm there. So I have a pair of ordinary simultaneous equation which I can solve. I prefer to use elimination. I want to eliminate y, so I'll multiply the whole of equation 2 by 4. 8x 4y 8, and there it is. So the first equation, I subtract the second equation. This is 1, this will be 0, this will be 3x minus 8x. It will be negative 5x. So negative 5x equals to 1. Divide by 5 on both sides. So directly, if I want to work with the decimals, I prefer to work with the decimals, x will be negative 0.2. Coming to the y, I can use equation 2 to find the value of y. Remember, y will be equals to 2 minus 2x. So 2 minus 2x. X I already know, it is negative 0.2. So if I substitute that, I'll get y is equal to 2.4. So otherwise the two answers are there. Good one. We proceed. 13, a question on vectors. Column vector A and C, they're given. You're also given that a third of A plus B, you get a half of C. So that tells you B can be given by a half of C. That is a half of C. Remember, this is vector C. Subtract this one on this side, a third of it was A, a third of A, a third of A. So with that, this is you open the bracket or you multiply by the scalar there. This will be 3, negative 1. And of course, this one will be subtraction remains. This one will be negative 1, 0. So if you put them together, 3 minus 1, you get 4. Then negative 1 minus 0, you get negative 1. So going ahead to get the magnitude of B. For such a vector, if I'm given vector AB, and I'm trying to find the magnitude of this vector will simply be A squared and B squared added, everything under square root. That's what I've done here. The square root of 4 plus the square root of negative 1, that is 16 plus 1, you get 17. Square root of it, you get 4.123. That is the magnitude of vector B. Number 14, a question on pie chart. The pie chart representing 4 types of animals in a farm: cattle, goats, sheep, and camels. Now, the total angle for a pie chart is 360, so I add 120, 130, x plus 10 is equivalent to 360. Going ahead to simplify that, that is 260 plus 2x equals to 360. Then I subtract 260 on both sides. I'll have 2x is equivalent to 100. Dividing by 2 on both sides, that means x is equals to 50. X represents 50. So we want to work out the number of camels, and you're given that goats are equivalent to 30. That tells you if 120 degrees represent 30, what about 60? Remember, 60 is 50 plus 10. So then you work out this, then by 3 1, by 3 4, by 4 1, 60 by 4 is 15. That is how you get the 15 camels. 15 camels. Cone, and this cone, you're given that this angle is 90 degrees, the vertex angle there. Then the question 1, you find the diameter. The question 1 or part 1, you're finding the diameter. Now, if this is 90 degrees, and of course remember this side is equal to this, even this one is 3 root 2. So that is an isosceles right angled triangle. So with that, this side squared plus this side squared equals to diameter squared. That's what I've done here. Remember, if you're working out, if you want to multiply 3 root 2 squared, it is 3 squared and root 2 squared. This is 9 times 2, 18. That's how you get 18. Remember, root 2 times root 2 is equals to 2. So 18 plus 18 equals to d squared. Go ahead, this is 36. 36 is equals to d squared. For square root of both sides, and d will be equals to, the diameter will be equals to 6 centimeters. Now, the next question is to work out the height of the cone. Remember, the height, the perpendicular height from the vertex divides the line into 2. So this will be 3. So it's like we are having another triangle with a right angle here. This is 3 and this is 3 root 2. So we are working out the height. Again, Pythagoras theorem will apply. The height squared will be equals to hypotenuse squared subtract the base square. Otherwise, if I want to find the height, it will simply be the square root. The square root of 3 root 2 squared minus 3 squared. So that is 18 minus 9. Square root of 9, you get 3. That is how you get the answer for that, the height of the cone. Now the question number 16 you're given this matrix here, and you're told that this is a singular matrix. Singular matrix do have a determinant of 0. They have a determinant of 0. So we go ahead and get the determinant. 3 times x, 3x, minus negative 4 times x minus 1. So if I go ahead to open the brackets here, it will be, first of all, I can open the inner brackets. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative times negative, you get positive 4. That is 4, negative 4, negative 1, you get 4. Then I open the other bracket to be 3x plus 4x. That is now opening the bracket with negative, negative. Then negative times positive here, negative, equals to 0. 3 plus 4x, that is 3x, 4x, you get 7x. Minus 4, I can add 4 on both sides to eliminate the negative 4 from this side. Finally, I'll have 7x equals to 4. So divide by 7 on both sides. So the x, your x that you have been looking for has been found. And your x is 7, and that is 4 over 7. Remember, that is the end of section 1. The section you're supposed to do all the questions. We've done the 16 questions. Now I've told you to attempt the question in section 2. Then I'll post later. Otherwise, I hope this has been very helpful. Okay, these are the questions for section 2, which you can attempt. Then I will post the answers on my next video. You have question number 17. You can read through it. They are talking about a businessman who bought X bags of maize. The cost of each bag was 960 shillings. Then he spent 85 shillings per bag to transport, and the rest. Answer all the questions. Read the question carefully and then answer it. Question number 18 is on statistics. You're given the marks in classes, then the frequencies. So again, you go ahead, look at the question, state the mode of frequency, determine the mean, etc., etc. The questions as they're given. Question number 19 is a question on transformation. You're given a triangle, which is the third image. Of course, you're supposed now to answer the questions. Study that, read the questions carefully, and answer the questions as they are. That is question 19 part 1 and even part 2. Good. We go ahead. Question number 20. Question number 20 is a question on vectors. You're given vector PQ, vector QR, vector PR, and of course the questions. So study the questions again, study that figure very well, and then answer the questions. Question number 21, it's a question on linear motion about a bus traveling between AB. Good. Let me see that. This is a question actually on quadratic. It's not linear motion. It's a question on quadratic, application of quadratic equation. So you expected to form a quadratic equation, then you solve. It's not a linear motion. Question number 22 is a question on commission. You're told of a sales lady who earns a basic salary of 25,000. Then, in addition to this basic salary, the sales lady earns the commission as given in the table. So study the table very well, then answer the questions A, B, and C. Question number 23 is a question on sequencing and series. So read again the question through and attempt the question, part A to part D. Good. That is question number 24, the last one. Good. With this one, you given a triangle. I think this is application of maybe the sine rule, cosine rule, or any of that. So study the questions again, the question 24, and then answer. Remember, in section 2, you're supposed to select 5. So answer your best 5. Give it the best 5. But because we are doing revision, you can attempt all of them. Because as I will come back to with the answers, I will go through all the 8 questions. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Asante sana. This is Dr. Sirme. Yo! With mathematics, you need to psych yourself. You need to show mathematics you can do. Yeah? Don't just be there. When the mathematics shows you the crows, show them your teeth. My students, Getting an E in chemistry and maths, you need to work harder than getting an A. For getting an A, you need to relax and do things smartly. But getting an E, you need to do a lot of idling. You need to do a lot of laziness.